Hey guys, there, Tech here, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you what I believe to be the best gate Aster settings for a TSG if you're going for a speedsoft gameplay style. Now, as you guys know, the TSG is not really capable of utilizing a whole lot of cylinder volume, so therefore it's pretty much strictly a close quarters, airsoft gun. It's not really anything even for moderate range. It's for strictly close range and really good trigger response, and if your indoor field allows it, high rate of fire. So I'm going to show you my gate Aster settings on my TSG that I would think are probably some of the best settings you can possibly have for a speedsoft style setup. Now, obviously you want the gun to fire once on semi-auto. You don't want any occasional or frequent double shot, just one pull of the trigger, one cycle. That's what you should want. And also you want to utilize as little active braking as possible. So let me plug up my TSG to the gate control station and I'll show you guys what I have set up. Alright, so let's go over what settings I have for my TSG setup. So this is just the gate Aster basic setup. It's not the advanced one. I wish it were the advanced one because then I could do a little more fine tuning that I would actually prefer for this TSG build, but this will get us roughly what we want. So I have my laptop, I have this USB link, plugging it up to the gate Aster in my TSG. Recognize, and there it is, awesome. So the setup that I have, I'll just go down the line here. General, I have battery protection off. This is just my personal preference. I know when my gun is getting low on battery, or when my battery is getting low on storage capacity, because I can kind of feel that and hear it. It doesn't really matter to me. Series safety limit doesn't matter to me. I have that off. I'd prefer it off. Active braking. So this is something that is very important that we need to talk about. When you are doing or running any high or frequently used semi-auto gun, like a TSG, a DSG, or any indoor setup, really, you want to have as little active braking as possible. And the reason is because obviously semi-auto, as we know, as we talked about on previous videos, semi-auto has a higher peak milliamp draw than full auto. And what I mean by that is that both of those are going to have the same peak draw. So neither of them are really technically higher, but in full auto, you're going to hit that peak amp draw at the same point as you do in semi-auto, but in full auto, you're going to dip down and then you're going to have a lower amp draw as the gun cycles in full auto. If you're playing close quarters and you're playing semi-auto all the time like I do, then your peak amp draw is hit every single time you pull the trigger. And so you're going to be generating more heat. So it's more accurate to say that semi-auto generates more heat than full auto, especially very frequent semi-auto. So that being said, you want to run active braking at a pretty low setting because of this. And that's what I'm doing. I know a lot of people that have gotten the TSG build to work, they have had to use a lot of active braking. I think there's a couple people I know that run pretty low active braking settings. I've got a 60% rating here right now. That is as low as I can go without causing any double shot. So this is reliably single shot every single time. Going down the line, I have my trigger detection very, very low, as you can tell. It's very, very sensitive. It does not shoot just when I flip it over to semi, it's nothing like that, but it is a hair trigger, and that is pretty important. It means a lot in close quarters. So that's what I have here, and I have my rate of fire set to 100% because why would I not? And precocking is turned off because essentially I don't need precocking because I have a active braking requirement that I need to meet in order to fire in semi-auto, so precocking is off the table. Now selector, I do have a safe binary full auto mode, and binary, if you guys don't know what binary is, I feel like most you do, but for those that don't, binary is essentially you pull the trigger, it fires, you let go of the trigger, it fires. So you basically get 2 cycles for 1 trigger pull, and that's what I have here. And again, like I said, if I had the advanced gate Aster, I could kind of more fine-tune this. I could say safe binary and semi, or safe semi-binary, and that would be what I really want, but this pretty much works. And everything else is pretty much standard. Nothing here, nothing else is extraordinarily special. But those couple things are really important. Active braking, you want to get it as low as possible, absolutely as low as possible. And then you adjust your trigger preferences for how sensitive you want your trigger to initiate a cycle. And then also you can decide whether you want binary or not. The field that I play at indoor that does allow binary. I know some that don't, which I think is kind of silly, but whatever. So yeah, if you can do binary, I'd recommend binary if that's what you want to do for a speed soft setup. So those are my settings for my TSG right now. Let's plug it up to a battery, put some BBs in it, and see how it sounds and shoots. And this here is the battery that I use for my TSG build. It's this Ivonic, really I think it's meant for like a RC plane, really. But it works Ferrosoft too. 2200 milliamp, 50C, 11.1 volt LiPo battery. Obviously wired to Dean's connector because it's the 21st century. This battery definitely supplies all that the motor requires to cycle this gun. If I were to use a smaller battery, I would be starving the motor, and which would mean I could probably run less active braking, but I'd rather run an appropriate battery, help my motor, and just run a little bit higher active braking setting. So let's plug it up, get some BBs in the magazine, and see how it shoots. This is binary mode. Full auto. So YouTube likes to demonetize my content because it's airsoft gun and therefore firearm, related topics. Anyway, I just want to prove to them that I'm safe wearing goggles in an enclosed environment. Public can't see what's going on in here. Test firing the TSG on a cardboard box. So binary mode here. Really love the way that sounds. Definitely give you an advantage on the field. And then full auto. Super smooth, and I'm thoroughly in love with the way this build turned out. All right, so those are the settings that I use for my TSG build, and then I will be using here soon when I play Airsoft again, coming up pretty soon in the future. And I'm gonna try to make more gameplay footage when I do go play with these settings. I really enjoyed doing that gameplay footage. I think you guys enjoyed it as well, so I wanna plan to do some more. It just takes a little bit of extra work, that's all. So that's going to have to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, please subscribe, like, and comment down below. Tell me what you guys use for your DSG and TSG settings if you do run an advanced MOSFET like the Gate Aster, BTC Spectre, Jeftron, Leviathan, you name it. If you run a programmable MOSFET with a dual sector gear setup or a triple sector gear setup, tell me what settings you use. Alright guys, that's going to have to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever the heck I'm doing next. But until then, stay tuned, Tex.